Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan, TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in the heart of Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway, right off Airline. I am at an undisclosed location presented by Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and there's no better place than to go over to LeBear's Casino for the sports book this weekend. I mean, like yesterday was packed. Today is going to be packed. 11:15 is the first game today in March Madness. And so this weekend, go get some great food, get you something to drink, and go over to the sports book and cheer on the games. You and I will be over there tomorrow from 10 to noon for Sports Shorts Radio. They got a $64,000 blackjack tournament going on tomorrow afternoon that I'll be emceeing. So a lot of fun over at LeBear's Casino. A lot to get to. Cinderella, Tommy, struck midnight last night on McNeese. They never were in it against Gonzaga. They lost by 21. But there were a lot of upsets. There were 3 11 seeds that won, a 10 seed that won, a 14 seed that, in Oakland knocked off Kentucky. So how did your bracket go day one? And what there were, at least to my count, at least 5 or 6 lower seeds won.
I went 11-5, which is not good. It's not awful, but it's not good. And I did have Kentucky winning 2 games, so I'm gonna miss that one in the round of 32. So, so 11-5 is not real good. I'm like in the top 1 million on the CBS poll thing. I'm in the top third, but I'm 900 something thousand from away. But there was a lot of perfect brackets yesterday. Believe it or not, even with the upsets that you referenced. There were a lot of perfect brackets.
That's because of computers, Tommy. That's because of computers. People will go on and get the computer to spit out a million different brackets and then upload them.
And see, and that's my thing. For years, I fill out one bracket. And if it does good, I'm gonna tell you. If it does bad, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna fill out 10 brackets and then, oh wait a minute, this one's doing really good today. Well, no, I'm a one bracket dude. I went 11-5 yesterday. We'll see what happens today.
Yeah. SEC did not do well yesterday. They went 1-3 in first round games. Tennessee being the lone team to win a game. You had Kentucky as a 3 seed get beat by Oakland University out of Michigan. And then, of course, you had South Carolina and Mississippi State. And I know a lot of people thought Mississippi State would be the surprise team, maybe win a couple games. So bad luck for the SEC. But before we talk about the NCAA tournament, we had LSU basketball. Bad luck for the Tigers. And it's amazing how positive things were for LSU basketball the last, say, month and a half. And it's like one game, one bad crowd, one game, and then all of a sudden now everybody's questioning, is the LSU basketball program headed in the right direction? Will they be in an NCAA tournament next year? Like, it's like this gloom that came over this program. Now that you've had a couple days to digest it, where are you at with your evaluation?
I definitely think there's a lot of question marks. Of course, with the transfer portal, there is the ability to create a quick fix. But they win 9 games in the league without an all-conference first team or third team player. They only won 2 games in the league last year. When you look at that, you're like, okay, we're the progress is being made. But I think. If Abingham's not going anywhere now, but if he doesn't get into the NCAA tournament next year or come dang close, I don't know if he survives any longer than that. The poor crowd the other night was alarming. I know baseball was being played, but hey, this was an NIT game. That doesn't matter because there's so many people that are hardcore basketball fans who don't go to baseball. There are baseball fans who don't go to basketball. And they got some that don't want to miss an event, but that's a small number. And I was a little bit alarmed by that crowd. Well, it's on Matt McMahon now to address the roster. Who's going to come back? Who can he go get? They had a big discussion this morning, Ronnie, on the Dan Patrick Show, which, as you know, is one of my favorite shows. And Dan played a little college basketball, and he loves basketball. He follows it more than you and I.
Where did he play, by the way?
Dayton. He's from Ohio, and he played at Dayton. But he was a backup kind of guy, point guard, 6'3", 6'4", whatever he is. But he was making the point, if you're a college coach, they were talking about Calipari and Kentucky losing, says, do you want an 18-year-old guy who might be good one day, or do you want the 21-year-old who just averaged 19 points at Montana State, that you kind of know what he can do, or some other place and you can transfer and be immediately eligible, which was an old rule. So it's up to Matt McMahon, his staff. Can they go out and plug the holes they need to plug, and win 9 or improve on 9 wins in the league play? That's it, simply put. Okay, because everybody loves a win. If that what the women's game will be packed today. There's a tournament game and they're a winning team. LSU finished 17-16, so that they're a winning team, but 9-9 in the league, and I guess it just didn't excite the fans enough.
Speaking of the women, they play at 3:00 today, so you can check that out on ESPN. The men, obviously their season's over with. As far as today goes, do you have a game? Are you betting anything? I know you did your bracket, but are you betting any games? And if so, do you have a game you like today?
No, I'm not going to bet. Like we said a week or so ago, we don't follow college basketball maybe like we used to, or like so many other people do. Hunter McCann follows it far more than you and I. So I did the bracket for kicks and giggles, and I'll see how I do. But no, I'm not going to bet any of these games. Now, might I bet when they get the Sweet 16 and an Elite 8, and you got a little feel for it, I might get into some of that now. But Major League Baseball's around the corner. I'm ready to try to pick a few winners there. And the NBA, Pelicans tonight on the road, doesn't look like they got a chance against the Heat, especially with Ingram out. So to answer your question, no, I'm not betting any games today. I'll keep tabs on that. I'll keep tabs on the LSU women against Rice. I couldn't find a line on that game. And then, of course, LSU baseball tonight at 7. I'll be all over the TV for that.
Speaking of Ingram for the Pels, I mean, the Pels had been in a great spot. They were playing well, 5th in the West with a bullet climbing into 4th. Read 8-2 in their last 10, and I mean, like, people around the country are starting to take notice. Paul Pierce, the former Celtic great, was talking about how, hey, look at the Pels, watch out for the Pels. Like, they're one of the better teams. They're going to be a sleeper. They get to the playoffs, man. In a 7-game series, they're going to be super tough. And then now Ingram. Brandon Ingram may be potentially out, and that's terrible, because when the big three are together, when McCollum and Ingram and Zion are healthy and playing together, they can play with anybody in the league. You take one of them out of the equation, they're just a playoff team, a barely playoff team. That's about it. And so
I agree with you completely.
It's going to be a disastrous 24, 48 hours when we find out what the deal is with Ingram. But, hopefully we can get fortunate. But anyway, the Pels did lose last night, and moving on to a weird topic, a weird story in sports. Major League Baseball started this week. Dodgers and Padres playing in Seoul, South Korea. Dodgers win the first day, Padres win the second day in a wild game, double-digit runs for each team. But this story developed out of Seoul, Korea. Why don't you tell us about it? Because Ohtani's been in the news a lot the last few weeks.
Yeah, he disclosed that he got married, beautiful woman, and the whole bit playing in Korea, whatever. But they fired his interpreter, who quote unquote was his best friend. Okay, his interpreter who handled a lot of business deals. The interpreter had $4.5 million worth of gambling debts, supposedly none on baseball. That may be yet to be determined. And Ohtani apparently loaned him $4.5 million. Now Ohtani's claiming it was stolen from him. The story changed because after the guy got fired, he went on ESPN for 90 minutes and basically said Ohtani clearly knew he was giving him the money and all this and all. And then the Ohtani camp changed the theory. They wanted to investigate it as a theft. Now, Ronnie, I thought it is. So a couple of months ago, I was at your office. You and I had to swap some cash Venmo, and we were both in a hurry and busy, and we did the transaction. And we got on the phone a couple of hours later and said, hey, we didn't get that right. It was about $200, whatever it was. But if $4.5 million ain't right, you're going to know it. Okay, we knew that we screwed up our little cash and Venmo thing that day to the tune of a couple $100, if that. So this story does not look good. Right now, there's an FBI investigation. Major League Baseball has said they are not investigating Ohtani as of last night, but they are monitoring the situation. That's the statement they released. They are monitoring the situation. Because if Ohtani knows he gave the money to the guy to pay off gambling debts to an illegal bookie in Los Angeles, then you're aiding and abetting a illegal gambling thing, okay? And I'm not saying Otani's going to get in trouble. He might not. Use the old ranch slogan. We got to let this play out. But it's not a good look for baseball. It's not a good look for sports gambling because there's a lot of unknown right now. So I would suggest to people, don't jump to a conclusion. Let it play out, like we always say.
Oh.
And then if something has to be disciplined, that has to happen. But it just does not look good. The conflict and stories don't look good at all. And again, Otani, I mean, if you don't know, supposedly he signed two $500,000 checks to give to the guy to go give to the bookie. Now, would he say, "Why am I giving you this $500,000?" You would think he would know why. Or the guy, unless the guy lied to him and said, "Hey, I need a loan. I want to invest in Bitcoin," or whatever, or whatever. I mean, it's just there's a lot of smoke here. We got to let it clear.
I could see a scenario where Otani, and by the way, this guy's been his interpreter since he came to the U.S. and whatever that was, 16, 17, 18. And I could see a scenario where Otani is a ever-trusting guy, and he's just signing checks. He could be signing blank checks. He could be signing checks that are partially paid out. I could see that. Or I could even see a scenario where he's got tons of money and his buddy comes to him and is like, "Hey, man, I'm scared. I owe this, all this money, and they might kill me. I apologize." Because this interpreter was making between $300,000 and $500,000 a year. And, "Hey, I'll work for you for free. I just need you to, do that, whatever." And look, if you're right, Otani may not have realized in that moment, "Hey, I'm helping out my friend. I got plenty. This guy's going to work it off, whatever." But at the same time, yeah, he can't do that. And he may be now that he's telling his buddy, or the camp is telling his buddy, "Listen, you're going to have to take the rap on this. You're going to have to take the heat on this. And therefore, we'll take care of you on the back end, or we'll, whatever, but hey, he's got too much to lose. This is your fault, your mess. You clean it up, and we'll be loyal to you, type of thing."
Dan Patrick had Phil Nevin, who, by the way, played baseball at the old.
I played against Phil Nevin in 1992. Phil Nevin played at Cal State Fullerton. He was a Golden Spikes Award winner that year, which is the Heisman Trophy of baseball. Cal State Fullerton came to Alex Box Stadium, beat us, went on to win the regional, went to Omaha, lost in the finals to Pepperdine.
Well, Phil Nevin was on the Dan Patrick show yesterday because he managed the Angels. He talked about Otani and the interpreter. He was gushing about what a great guy he perceived the interpreter to be, a fun guy, knew the game of baseball, Otani's best friend. I mean, he shed a lot of light on the relationship between the two yesterday. And I did hear that interview, but like you said, we don't know what happened, but I can see the scenario. Two things I can see. Ronnie, I'm sure there's days you're in the Rougarou office and somebody comes in with 3 checks and you're on the phone and typing, "Hey, sign these 3, Ronnie. I got to send them out." And you may or may not know exactly what the check was about. I know that could have happened. I can see that happening. But again, $4.5 million. I mean, it's in your bank account. I know it's in my bank account. If 4,500 is missing, you and I are going to know it. He doesn't, So I don't know. It's not a good look at this point. But I think what's going to happen, what you said, his interpreter is going to jump on the sword, and they'll take care of him on the back end because of Major League Baseball. But they had a couple other guys last year, Bob, on the peripheral with gambling who got suspended. So the Major League Baseball does not want to suspend the marquee player in the league, Shohei Otani, L.A. market. They're trying to grow the game nationally. They got to suspend Otani. Not saying they are. I'm saying if. That's going to be bad for a lot of reasons.
Bad deal. It's a crazy story. We'll continue to monitor it. Guy just signed a $700 million contract. He got married, and now he's got this controversy. So he has been the headliner for sure the last X amount of months. All right. What else we got, TK, in the world of sports that I'm forgetting about?
Well, you just NFL, the tush push play. The Eagles made it popular.
Oh, the Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that it will not be banned in the coming season. Just another 1-year thing. Also, the hip drop tackle. They're trying to, make that illegal and throw a penalty, but the Players Association doesn't want that. Too hard.
You're talking about the hip drop hip drop tackle where like a guy dives into the hip of a player, like hits below the
pull
waist?
the guy down. Pull the guy down. Yeah. There's been some injuries. There's been some significant
Oh,
injuries.
you're talking about like pull him from behind type of thing. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's tackle football. If
But
already, I mean, how the hell are you supposed to get these guys down that are 6'2", 230 pounds that run a 4.4 40? If you horse collar, they took that away, which they often times call a horse collar when it's a shoulder tackle. I mean, how the hell are you supposed to get people to the ground?
Well, again, you get paid to get him on the ground. If you're the linebacker and the running back's coming through the hole, you're paid to get him on the ground.
However,
after a 1 or 2 yard gain. Yeah, get him on the ground after a 1 or a 2 yard gain. That's what you're being paid to do. And then the other thing that we wanted to talk about today, Southeastern Conference football. Okay, in the midst of all these other stories, the 2025 SEC schedule will also be 8 games, like this coming 2024 schedule. And they're going to keep all the opponents the same, just going to flip home and away. So LSU will go to Oklahoma, which they've never done.
That's cool.
And people already planning that trip. Okay, they'll take over Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma. So I think the SEC just want to wait a little more clarification of what's going to happen in this playoff thing, because including Scott Woodward and LSU, they're push for 9-game SEC schedule. But there is a clause in there that now that you have to play another major power conference school or a major independent, that means Notre Dame. And, LSU's doing that by playing USC and UCLA this year. But the SEC schedule is just going to mirror. It's going to flip for 2025. Same opponents, different stadium. They don't know the exact dates yet. It might not be the exact same order. They did mention that.
I'm excited for the 2025 season because they're going to open up their season at Clemson. And I got a good friend of mine who has a bar right outside the campus of Clemson. It's like a walk-ons type place that's super popular. That's going to be cool. Looking forward to LSU at Clemson. LSU at Oklahoma, never been to Norman. That'll be a neat experience to go there. All the history of University of Oklahoma football. And LSU plays Vanderbilt. Now, they play them in Nashville. The best part of that is the trip is in Nashville. So you get to go to Nashville. So those are the 3 trips that I know for sure I'll be making in 25. Those will be a lot of fun. TK, LSU baseball plays tonight. Big Giant series against University of Florida. Friday, Sunday games will be on the ESPN family of networks on SEC Network.
No. SEC Network.
SEC Network. And then on Saturday, ESPN Plus will have the games. So linear on Friday and Sunday, ESPN Plus on Saturday.
And it is Holman, Jump, Hurd that been announced as the 3 starters.
Yeah. Holman, Jump,
Might be Hurd's last start. And I think Anderson will be in some type of relief role, obviously. And if Hurd has another bad outing, we don't know. Because the next week, Ronnie, it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series at Arkansas. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They got Southeastern on Tuesday in Baton Rouge. So the pitching they got plenty of depth, supposedly, on pitching. That's going to be something to monitor, how many guys should have to use this weekend. Got to get 2 out of 3 from Florida. And if you can get lucky, get 3 out of 3. That's got to be the mission.
Riley Green, the country singer. You don't know who he is, Tommy. He's got a big show tonight over with Tracy Lawrence opening up for him at the Raising Cane's Center tonight. Big show, almost sold out.
You going?
I am going to go. I'm going to go.
Okay.
Riley Green is throwing out the first pitch tonight. He's going to throw out the first pitch and then head over to the Raising Cane's Center. If you have your daughter knows who Riley Green is.
She's going to the concert. Tell her hello if you see her.
There you go.
Her and her bunch. It's a girls' trip thing.
All the girls love Riley Green, Coach.
Just look for 4 or 5 of the most beautiful women in the room and tell my daughter hello. I'll tell her to look for it.
That might be a little weird for my date. If I'm like, hey, look, those are the most beautiful women in the world. Let me go talk to them.
No, tell her that's TK's daughter.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. Everybody loves Riley Green. My little niece, Reagan, she's a junior at St. Thomas More High School in Lafayette. And Riley Green is a former quarterback at Troy. He was like a backup quarterback in college at Troy. And, of course, Troy played UL in the New Orleans Bowl this year. Not Troy. Jacksonville State, excuse me. Jacksonville State played UL, and Riley Green went to the game, had his date, was on the sidelines, and we were able to get, my brother was able to get Reagan onto the sidelines to take a picture with her. She was thrilled to death. So all the girls loved them some Riley Green. But anyway, he's throwing out the first pitch tonight for the LSU game, and he's got a show at the Cain Center. Giant weekend. We got LSU women's basketball at 3 o'clock. We got LSU baseball tonight at 7. We got the Riley Green concert going on, March Madness. You can watch it all at LeBear's Casino. So a lot going on. TK, tell us about Tremonti's before we get out of here.
We're going to get crawfish today at 4 o'clock, ball crawfish, live crawfish. They got a good supply. You can make your Easter orders now. Get your Easter orders in for live crawfish, ball crawfish. It's not an unlimited supply, but they should be able to handle everybody. So get your Easter orders in now. Call the phone number on the screen. Stop by on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. It's not too early. Get those Easter orders in now for ball crawfish, live crawfish, because everything else that they got here at Tremonti. You really need to stop in and see everything that they have here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. So we encourage you to do that. We appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like and share this show. That helps us all out a whole lot. Like and share this show. Don't forget tomorrow morning, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hunter McCann, Ronnie Rance, Joel Davis, myself, the whole gang will be at the Sportsbook at LeBear's Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge. March Madness, Sportsbook, LeBear's. That's all you got to say. Have a great day, everyone.